The stars above Nova Station 9 burned like frozen fire. It was the night before the pairing ceremony, the event every soldier dreamed of, the day the Interstellar Match Corps assigned each human a perfect life-bonded partner from across the allied species. Most called it destiny written in data. But for Captain Rylan Ward, destiny had always been a glitch waiting to happen. He stood by the viewport, staring at the endless dark. The reflection of his scarred face looked older than his 29 years. "Just give me someone normal this time," he muttered. Last year, the algorithm had rejected him entirely. Incompatible emotional pattern. Tonight, his name had finally appeared on the roster. The ceremony hall shimmered with blue light. Thousands of names scrolled across the hollow screens. Laughter, excitement, and soft music filled the air. Humans embraced gentle-eyed Andari healers, tall bronze-skinned Yorin soldiers, even the crystalline Voxions from the outer rings. Every match seemed perfect, peaceful. Then the system froze. The lights dimmed. A line of red text appeared over the center display. Pairing error code Valkyr 0. Manual override required. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The director frowned. Who triggered that code? It hasn't appeared in a century. Ryland's wrist chip vibrated. The hollow message glowed against his skin. Candidate Ryland Ward, your match has been found. Proceed alone to chamber E-13. He blinked. Alone? People stared as he left the main hall. The door slid shut behind him, cutting off the music. The corridor beyond was dark, cold, almost silent. His boots echoed against metal floors that hadn't seen use in years. Faint writing on the wall read Sector E Quarantine Wing. He stopped. "This isn't funny," he said to the empty hall. No one answered. A single light flickered ahead. He followed it to a sealed chamber. The door recognized his ID and hissed open. Inside was darkness, and a pulse of red light coming from a containment pod. At first, he thought it was a malfunctioning power cell. Then he saw her. A woman, tall, motionless, encased in transparent crystal. Her hair floated like black ink in water. Her skin was pale silver, veins faintly glowing beneath it. Her lips were dark as blood, and her eyes, closed for now, shimmered faintly with hidden light. The pod display read, "Species unknown, Project Veil. Do not awaken." Raylan whispered, "What the hell did they pair me with?" The control panel blinked. His wrist chip sensed automatically. Reading, match confirmed. Rylan Ward Plus, subject V01. Compatibility 100%. A rush of static filled the room. A mechanical voice spoke from the ceiling. "Warning. Genetic lock activated. Bonding protocol initiated." Rylan stepped back. "Wait, stop the protocol." The crystal cracked with a sharp hiss. Red mist leaked into the air. Then her eyes opened, two glowing orbs of crimson and gold. They locked on him, and for a second he couldn't breathe. She moved faster than human sight. One moment she was inside the pod, the next she stood before him, barefoot, silent. The air dropped to freezing. Rylan raised his weapon, heart hammering. "Stay back." Her voice was low, smooth, and dangerous. "You woke me. You were already waking," he said. She tilted her head, studying him like a predator studies prey. "You're human. Last time I checked." A faint smile curved her lips. "You smell of iron and fear." He swallowed hard. "And you smell like trouble." The smile widened, showing a glimpse of fangs. So the stories were true. The prophecy still stands. He frowned. "Prophecy?" "The one written before your son learned to rise," she said softly. "When blood and light meet, the chain of worlds will break." "I'm guessing that's bad news." Her eyes flared brighter. "It means you were never supposed to find me." The door behind him slammed shut. His comms died. The entire room shifted, lights dimming, gravity humming low. She stepped closer. Reland kept his rifle up, though his hands shook. "What are you?" She leaned close enough that her breath brushed his ear. "They called my kind the Vainer, but you will call me Queen." He stumbled back. "Queen of what?" "Of hunger. Of night. Of every secret your people buried when they built this place." The alarms blared again. His wrist chip glowed red. Pairing complete. Heart link stabilizing. He stared in disbelief. No, cancel it. Too late. Pain ripped through his chest. He fell to one knee, gasping as light poured from his veins. She watched silently, almost curious. When it ended, he looked up at her, sweating, shaking. "What did you do to me?" Her expression softened just a little. "I didn't choose this either, human." Then, for the first time, her voice trembled. "They matched you to me because they fear what I am. You are my balance. Or my end." The door exploded open behind them. Guards stormed in. "Step away from the specimen." One shouted. The Queen turned slowly, eyes burning brighter. "Specimen?" she whispered. The lights died. The guard screamed, and Rylan realized the prophecy had already begun. The screams stopped too fast. When the lights came back, the guards were gone. Only drifting ash floated through the air like dust from another world. Captain Rylan Ward stood frozen, his rifle shaking in his hands. Across the room, the alien, woman his so-called match, watched the gray flakes fall as if remembering an old song. "What did you do?" he whispered. Her red gold eyes turned toward him. "They fired first. That's not an answer." "They were dead before they entered," she said softly. "This place feeds on blood memories. It always has." Ryland's throat tightened. He forced himself to lower the rifle, but every muscle screamed to run. "You killed them," he said, "and somehow the system still says you're my bonded partner." She stepped closer, slow and smooth, bare feet silent on the cold floor. "You think this is a pairing of choice?" "It's a binding written in code and curse." He backed into the wall. "Unbind it?" A sad smile touched her lips. "If I could, human, I would have done it centuries ago." He hesitated. "Centuries?" "I was the first to be tested in the pairing project. They called it Project Veil. The humans wanted to merge their life energy with the Vainer, to create peace. Instead, they created me." Her eyes dimmed as she spoke. "When they saw what I became, they sealed me in crystal. Said the world was not ready for a queen who needed blood to live." Ryland felt cold crawl up his spine. "You were their experiment, and now their mistake is yours." Before he could answer, pain flared through his chest again, sharp, electric. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Lines of faint red light ran under his skin. She was beside him instantly. "Breathe. What's happening?" "Our bond," she said quietly. "When my heart wakes, yours follows. When I bleed, you feel it. When I die," he cut her off. "Not planning on testing that." A flicker of surprise crossed her face, then something like respect. She helped him stand. "You are stronger than the last one." "The last one?" Her voice softened. "He didn't survive the link." He stared at her. "And I'm supposed to trust you?" "No," she said. "You're supposed to survive me." The chamber alarms came alive again. Red lights strobed. A metallic voice shouted through the speakers. "Containment breach in E sector. Termination squads deploying." Ryland cursed. "More guards." "Not guards," she corrected. "Executioners." He looked at her, then at the sealed doors. "If they catch us, they'll kill us both. And we don't let them." She moved to the control panel and sliced her palm open with a sharp nail. Her blood shimmered like liquid light as it touched the sensor. The metal doors obeyed, sliding open with a hiss. She looked back at him. Your kind built locks that still remember my blood. Run, Captain. They sprinted down the corridor. Sirens screamed above them. Drones dropped from ceiling vents, firing stun bolts. Ryland spun and shot one out of the air. Any chance you can not drain the next one? Only if you stop missing, she said calmly, then crushed another drone with telekinetic force. They reached the hangar. Half the ships were wrecks, but one shuttle still hummed with power. Ryland slapped the access pad. Get in. She hesitated at the threshold, eyes narrowing. This craft runs on solar fusion? Yeah, problem? Sunlight burns my kind. He sighed. Figures. He rummaged through the storage locker and tossed her a dark pilot jacket. Cover up. You'll live. She stared at him. Why help me? Because whatever you are, you didn't ask for this. For the first time, her expression softened. You remind me of someone I once knew. A soldier who thought mercy was weakness. And he was wrong. They lifted off, just as the hangar doors exploded behind them. The shockwave pushed the shuttle into the clouds. Lightning flashed across the sky, painting her face in crimson light. Ryland took the controls, knuckles white. Where do we go? Anywhere with darkness, she said. And silence. That narrows it down to nowhere. She turned her gaze toward the stars. Then nowhere is where destiny begins. He looked at her, really looked at her this. Strange, fierce woman who could kill armies, but spoke with sorrow instead of pride. What do I call you? Her answer came like a whisper from memory. My name is Seraphine. He nodded slowly. All right, Seraphine. Let's figure out how not to die tonight. She glanced at him, a faint smile touching her lips. Careful, human. That's how every prophecy begins. Outside, the station shrank behind them, swallowed by stars. Inside the shuttle, two heartbeats now moved as one human, one alien. Both caught in a bond neither understood yet. And somewhere, far away, a hidden voice whispered through the void. The Queen has awakened. The blood link lives again. The small shuttle shot into deep space, leaving Nova Station shrinking behind them like a dying ember. Inside, the hum of engines filled the silence between Captain Ryland Ward and the alien woman beside him. Seraphine sat by the viewport, wrapped in the black jacket he'd given her. The faint glow under her skin pulsed slowly, as if her blood carried light instead of life. Raylan kept his hands on the flight controls. His heart still raced from the escape. We're clear of their scanners, he said. For now. Seraphine's gaze didn't move from the stars. They will send hunters. They always do. Then I'll fly faster, he said. You can't outfly prophecy. He frowned. I don't believe in prophecy. I believe in fuel, luck, and good aim. A ghost of a smile crossed her lips. Then perhaps luck brought you to me. More like a bad algorithm. The smile vanished. You think I'm a mistake? I think this whole pairing program is one big joke, he said. They promised everyone a perfect match. Someone kind, peaceful, predictable. Instead, I got you. She turned her head slowly, her golden eyes glowing faint red at the edges. And yet you haven't killed me. He met her gaze for a moment, then looked back at the stars. Yeah, I'm still figuring that part out. For a while, they flew in silence. Outside, nebula clouds drifted like painted smoke. The sensors beeped softly, warning of pursuit. He switched the ship into stealth mode, killing most lights. The cockpit dimmed, leaving only the faint shimmer of her eyes. How far until sunrise? She asked quietly. 4 hours, he said. We'll cross into the shadow side of Orion 6. Permanent night. You'll be safe there. She nodded. You are not what I expected from a human soldier. What did you expect? Someone colder. Hungrier for control. He shrugged. Guess I disappoint everyone. Her gaze lingered on him. Disappointment feels human. You wear it like armor. He didn't answer. Instead, he checked the radar again, then froze. Contacts. 3 ships. Not human. Seraphine closed her eyes. Vayner hunters? Your people? They were my people, she said, until they decided their queen was too dangerous to live. The ships accelerated, triangular shadows cutting through the void. Ryland gritted his teeth. Looks like they still think that. He pulled the shuttle into a dive, engines roaring. Plasma fire streaked past the cockpit. The first blast hit the hull, shaking the cabin. Alarm screamed. Hold on. He shouted. Seraphine gripped the seat. They won't stop. The bond between us is a beacon. They can track my blood anywhere. And maybe we use that, Ryland said. He flipped a switch, cutting all power. The ship went dark, drifting silently in the shadow of a drifting asteroid field. The hunters overshot, scanning empty space. Ryland whispered, "Let's hope they're as dumb as they look." "They are patient," she said. "They will wait." He turned to her. "So what do we do, Queen?" Her eyes flicked to him, faint amusement returning. "You mock me less now. Guess I'm getting used to your company." "Careful," she said softly. "That's how the bond deepens." He ignored the comment, but his pulse quickened anyway. "We'll hide here until they pass, then jump to Orion 6. Seraphine closed her eyes, breathing slowly. "No, the bond is not stable. You feel it too." He frowned. "Feel what?" Before she could answer, pain stabbed through his chest again. His vision blurred. "What the—" She moved to him instantly, placing a hand on his heart. The pain eased. Her palm was cold, her touch feather-light. "Our hearts are linked," she whispered. "If I lose control of the hunger, it feeds through you." He looked at her pale face. "So if you starve, you bleed," she finished. He swallowed. "That's inconvenient." Her eyes softened. "It's more than that. The link can only stabilize if I feed." Ryland's hand went to his neck. "Feed? As in?" She nodded slowly. "Just once. A drop. Enough to quiet the bond." He stared at her. "You're serious?" "I don't want to," she said quietly. "But if I lose control, I'll kill both of us." Outside, a faint pulse of light flared, the hunters circling back. Ryland sighed. "You picked the worst timing." Her eyes glowed brighter. "Decide, human. Blood or death." He hesitated, then pulled down the collar of his suit. "Make it fast." She moved closer. Her breath was cool against his skin. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then he felt the bite sharp, deep, and strangely gentle. Warmth flooded through him. Not pain, but something else, connection. He saw flashes in his mind. Stars, ancient cities, a throne made of glass, a queen walking alone in darkness. When she pulled back, her eyes were no longer red, but soft gold. "It's done." He touched his neck, dizzy. "You call that a drop?" Her smile was faint but real. "You're still alive, aren't you?" He laughed once, breathless. "Barely." Outside, the radar cleared. The hunters vanished into hyperspace. The ship drifted in silence again. Ryland leaned back in his seat. "Remind me never to sign up for another pairing program." Seraphine looked at him for a long time. "It wasn't the program," she said softly. "It was fate. And fate doesn't make mistakes." He turned to her. "You really believe that?" Her eyes met his. "I have to. Otherwise, I'm just a monster, and you're just the fool who set me free." The ship floated quietly through the shadows, 2 hearts beating as one, while far behind them, the first message from Nova Station 9 went out into the void. Dark space stretched endless and cold. Captain Ryland Ward drifted half asleep in the pilot's chair, watching faint blue stars glide past the window. Beside him, Seraphine sat silent, her golden eyes reflecting the instrument's glow. The air between them felt strange, now warmer somehow, alive with the pulse of the blood bond neither had chosen. He broke the silence first. "How long until we reach Orion 6? 2 hours, she said softly. "If the hunters don't find us first." Ryland gave a tired grin. "You're really good at small talk." Her lips curved faintly. "Humans use humor to hide fear. And Vayner?" he asked. "We hide nothing," she said. "That's why everyone fears us." He glanced at her, studying her face, the smooth silver skin, a faint light moving through her veins. "You don't look like someone who enjoys being feared." "I don't." Her gaze turned distant. "But it is easier than being forgotten." The words hung heavy between them until the radar beeped 3 sharp notes that froze them both. Raylan leaned forward. Contacts again. Same signature pattern. She closed her eyes. Vayner blood hunters. They can sense what I touched. So they're tracking me too, he muttered. Great. The ship jolted as enemy fire lanced through the dark. Plasma flared across the hull. "They've locked on." Ryland pulled the shuttle into a sharp roll. "Hold tight." The small craft dived into the shadow of a dead moon. Lightning like energy bolts chased them, burning bright arcs through the darkness. Metal groaned. Alarms wailed. Raylan fought the controls, jaw tight. "We can't take another hit." Seraphine stood behind him, her eyes glowing brighter. "Then stop running." "What?" "Let me fight." He shot her a glance. "You're unarmed." Her voice dropped lower. "I don't need weapons." Before he could stop her, she pressed her hand against the cabin wall. The lights dimmed. The ship's power flickered. Her blood's glow spread through the wiring like living fire. The engines roared, their tone shifting from mechanical to almost organic. "What are you doing?" He yelled. "Calling the night," she whispered. Outside, the hunters slowed. The void around the shuttle darkened until it swallowed light itself. A shadow wave expanded outward, cold, silent, endless. One by one, the hunter ships vanished into it. No explosion, no trace. Only Silence Dot, and Seraphine collapsed. Raylan caught her before she hit the floor. Her body was ice cold. "Hey, stay with me." She blinked weakly. "I earned too much." He carried her to the cot at the back of the cabin, laying her down gently. "What did you just do?" "Night Veil," she murmured. "Old magic. Only queens can summon it. But it costs blood." "Yours?" he said quietly. She nodded, eyes closing. "And yours too. The bond shares everything." A dull ache spread in his chest. He touched his neck. The old bite mark glowed faint red. "Damn it, Seraphine. You could have warned me." Her lips curved faintly. "You would have stopped me." "You're right," he said. "I would have." The ache grew stronger. He forced a deep breath, focusing on her pulse instead of the pain. "You'll rest," he said. "No more hero tricks." Her voice came faint, almost like a thought. "You sound like a soldier I once loved." Ryland froze. "Loved?" She opened her eyes just enough to meet his. "He was human too. Long ago. Before your people erased the record. His blood made the first bond possible. But he betrayed me. Sold my kind to the scientists who built the pairing program." Ryland's chest tightened. "So all this, all the matching, the prophecy, it started because of him?" "Yes." Her breath shook. "He thought he could control the power of life itself. But he forgot mercy. And mercy is what keeps monsters from winning." He swallowed. I'm not him. I know, she whispered. That's why you were chosen. Before he could reply, the radar beeped again, this time a new tone. Not hunters. A Terran signal. He frowned. Human patrols. Great. If they find you, they will kill me, she finished calmly. And you too. No human survives a vampire link. He stared at the blinking light, weighing options. Then we disappear before they arrive. She sat up slowly, her strength returning in flashes of gold. There is one place they cannot follow the blood nebula. My people fear it. Your fleets avoid it. But within it lies the throne that was stolen from me. Your home, he said. Her eyes burned bright. My destiny. And perhaps yours. He gripped the controls. Then that's where we go. As the ship turned toward a red glow on the edge of the star map, Seraphine whispered, a prophecy says the human heart will burn where stars are born. Do you still not believe in fate? He smiled faintly. I believe in bad luck, but I'll take my chances. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks of light. Inside, their joined pulses beat in perfect rhythm, human and alien. Predator and soldier, both running toward something neither yet understood. Far behind them, a voice on a Terran comm of the ship shuddered as it crossed into the blood nebula. Red clouds twisted outside like rivers of living fire. Energy storms flashed through the fog, painting Captain Rylan Ward's face in crimson light. Every sensor blinked error. The radar went blind. This place is death, he muttered. Beside him, Seraphine stood motionless, eyes glowing faintly gold. To mortals, yes, she said. To my kind, it is home. The air itself felt heavier here. The engines hummed slower, as if the ship was sinking into a heartbeat older than time. Rylan kept his grip on the controls. So, Your Majesty, what exactly are we looking for? The throne, she whispered. The source of the bond, the heart of every Vayner queen. And you think it'll fix this thing between us? It may free you, she said quietly. Or it may claim you forever. That's comforting, he said dryly. The ship broke through a wall of red mist and entered open space again. But this space was wrong. Dozens of shattered moons floated in orbit around a single dark planet. Lightning crackled between them like veins of blood. At the center, rising from the planet's surface, stood a black spire glowing faintly from within. The throne, Seraphine breathed. Rylan slowed the ship, landing near a valley of glass. The moment they stepped outside, the ground pulsed under their boots. Each step echoed like a heartbeat. The air smelled of metal and rain. The sky above shimmered with clouds that moved against the wind. Seraphine's eyes glowed brighter with every breath she took. It remembers me, she said. Rylan followed her toward the spire. Strange runes lit up beneath their feet, reacting to her presence. How long since you've been here? 3,000 years, she whispered. My blood sleeps in the stones. He hesitated. That's older than human civilization. She smiled faintly. Then you see why your people never understood us. Inside the spire, light rippled along the walls like fire under glass. The chamber ahead opened into a vast hall lined with mirrors. In the center stood a black throne carved from crystal and bone. The air hummed with power. Seraphine stepped forward, her body trembling. It calls me. Rylan caught her arm. Wait, you don't know what it'll do. She looked at him, eyes soft now. I have to finish what began. If the throne accepts me, the curse ends. If not, run. He tightened his grip. Not leaving you. Her expression warmed. You sound like him. Who? The first human, she said. The one who betrayed me. But maybe you'll end what he started. Before he could answer, she broke free and walked to the throne. The runes flared red as she placed her hand on the armrest. The entire hall shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The mirrors rippled, showing flashes of faces old Vayner queens, ancient wars, worlds drowning in light. Then one mirror cleared, showing Rylan himself. His reflection turned toward him and spoke in a voice that wasn't his. Blood and light cannot coexist unless they love. He stared at it. What? Seraphine gasped. The throne blazed brighter, light crawling up her arm like fire. It's choosing, she cried. The bond is deciding our fate. Rylan rushed to her side as the floor split open. Energy swirled around them, dragging them both into a whirlpool of red and white light. He grabbed her hand. Hold on. Their minds collided. He saw her past her world before the fall, her laughter, her loneliness. He felt her hunger, her guilt, her centuries of isolation. And she saw him, his wars, his pain, his small acts of mercy when everyone else chose violence. In the middle of that storm, Rylan heard her voice inside his mind. I was made to drink blood, but you taught me how to breathe again. He pulled her close. Then breathe with me. Light exploded. The throne blazed white for the first time in ages. The crimson sky outside cleared to silver. Every shattered moon stopped its orbit, turning toward the spire as if listening. When the storm faded, Seraphine stood different, stronger, calmer. Her eyes were no longer red, but a soft gold flecked with blue. The mark on Rylan's neck dimmed and stopped burning. He looked at her. What happened? The bond is complete, she said. I am no longer a queen of blood, but of light. And me? She smiled gently. You're the first human to share a Vayner soul. Half of you belongs to the stars now. Before he could answer, a burst of static crackled through his comms. A human signal. Captain Ward, this is Command Fleet. We found you. Do you copy? He met her eyes. They're coming. She nodded. Then choose your world, Rylan Ward. The one that made you, or the one we just saved? The ground rumbled. Above them, human ships descended through the nebula's light. Behind them, ancient Vayner warcraft rose from burial pits, answering their queen's call. Two armies faced each other across a valley of glass, and in the center stood a human and an alien queen, their hands still linked. Rylan took a slow breath. Maybe it's time we stopped choosing sides. Seraphine smiled, tears shining like light. And we stand together. The first beams of fire crossed the sky as both forces opened fire at once. Rylan tightened his grip on her hand and whispered, Here we go again. And the throne answered with light so bright, that night itself. Fled.nd ship crackled through static. The battlefield burned with light and darkness at once. Above the broken valley, human warships and Vayner dreadnoughts circled like vultures. Every cannon charged. Every pilot waited for one command to unleash the end of both species. At the center stood Captain Rylan Ward and Queen Seraphine, hands still joined before the living throne. Their bond glowed between them, half crimson, half white, shining through the smoke. Rylan could hear both fleets on his comms. Captain Ward, step away from the alien. My queen, order the human destroyed. He looked up at the sky and shouted, If either of you fire, you kill everything. No one listened. Missiles lit the clouds. Seraphine's eyes closed, and when she spoke, her voice echoed through every radio, every mind. Enough. The word rippled like thunder. Time slowed. The weapons froze mid-air, caught in invisible light. Rylan felt the pressure inside his chest rise until he could hardly breathe. She turned to him, her face calm but sad. The bond is complete, Rylan. I can end this, but the price will bind our souls forever. He met her gaze. You're not doing this alone. You don't understand, she whispered. If I call the eclipse, there will be no more blood, no more hunger, but I will become the light itself. I won't return." He shook his head. "Then I go with you." Her smile trembled. "You'd give up your world for mine?" "I'd give it up to stop both from dying." For a heartbeat, she looked like the woman she might have been, tired, gentle, almost human. Then she stepped forward and pressed her forehead against his. "Then let it be both our worlds." The throne beneath them came alive. The ground cracked open, pouring white fire. The sky split into two halves, one of sunlight, one of blood. Ryland felt the energy climb through their joined hands, racing through his veins. Pain and light mixed until he couldn't tell them apart. He heard voices, thousands, millions crying out from both species. Then the stars themselves dimmed. The last eclipse began. A column of radiant energy burst upward, connecting the planet to the sky. Every missile disintegrated. Every engine went silent. In that blinding moment, humans saw through vainer eyes, and the vainer saw through human hearts. They shared memories, love, loss, fear, and mercy. And for the first time, they understood each other. When the light faded, the ships above hung quietly in orbit. No one moved. No one fired. The war was gone. Only the valley remained, glowing with soft silver dust. The throne had turned to glass. Ryland lay on the ground beside it, breathing slowly. His armor was scorched, his pulse weak but alive. He sat up, searching. "Seraphine?" No answer. Only light dancing across the wind like falling snow. He stood shakily, staring at the glowing dust rising from the throne. The light gathered before him, shaping itself into her face translucent, smiling. "Ryland Ward," she said softly, "you kept your promise." He reached out, his fingers passing through the light. "You're still here." "I am everywhere now," she said. "The curse is broken. The bond remains." Not to bind, but to remind. His throat tightened. "Remind us of what?" "That love is stronger than fear," she whispered. "That hunger ends where understanding begins." Tears burned his eyes. "What am I supposed to do without you?" Her voice was barely a breeze. "Live, and when your sun sets, look for me in the dark between stars." "I'll be there." The light dissolved into the air, scattering like golden rain. He stood alone again, but the silence felt peaceful this time. Days later, Terran and Vaner fleets landed side by side. No war orders came. Soldiers from both sides looked at each other and lowered their weapons. Word spread across galaxies. The Queen of Blood was gone. The human who saved her still lived. Years passed. The Blood Nebula cleared. The planet became a shrine called the Eclipse World. Pilgrims came from every race to touch the glass throne, to feel the quiet hum of unity left behind. And at its heart, a single engraving appeared on the crystal seat, words in both languages, glowing faintly whenever night fell. She chose light. He chose mercy. And the stars remembered both. Ryland grew older. His hair silvered, his scars faded, but he never left the planet. He built gardens around the throne and watched children from two species play together where armies once fought. Every evening he sat beneath the twin moons and whispered her name. One night, as he drifted toward sleep, the horizon flared softly red gold. He smiled. "Still watching, huh?" A warm breeze touched his face, gentle, familiar. His eyes closed with peace. The next morning, the caretakers found him sitting in the garden, smiling, light dust sparkling on his shoulders. From that day, the people said the eclipse never truly ended. When two worlds looked up together, a faint glow appeared between their suns, a reminder that even the wildest, most broken souls could find harmony. And somewhere in that endless sky, two voices whispered as one. Humanity's greatest power was never strength. It was love.